Hey, what's up? It's 49ers Coast to Coast. We're back. Jason Aponte, Grant Cohn. All I'm going to say is we worked it out. Jason's a stand-up guy. Love that man. That's all I'm going to say about that. Jason hit me up today and was like, dude, this guy is doing a show with Don Yee. Don Yee is going to go. And so I thought it was going to be Don Yee. He said Don Yee. Anyway, Dan Salio didn't produce Don Yee. But he went on his show and said, I talked to Don Yee, and this is what he told me, which is, I mean, you don't really get that from sports reporters ever. It's always like my source. I mean, I would never say my source. So shout out to Dan for going there. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little risky. I mean, if it's true, I mean, I don't think that he'll ever really, ask him again.
I would think. I mean, he played for the team. He knows the general manager and Don Yee. And I guess Don Yee's cool with him just repeating conversations. Hey, that's between him and Don. Thank you, Dan. First thing he said is that the Bucs want Jimmy Garoppolo. That if, they want him as Brady's backup and heir apparent. And so if the Browns don't make a stronger push to make him their starter, that the Bucs are waiting to trade for Jimmy G. He didn't say what they're going to trade, but it seems like they don't have cap space. They'd actually be, it seems like I'm going to ask him, but they would consider extending his deal and actually wow. What do you think of that?
I mean, it's hard to really gauge what's the truth and what he's speculating on, because if you watch it, you can go back and rewind it if you want to go watch what was going on. And he goes back and forth with Grant. Grant was asking all the good questions because he was kind of at first, well, this is what's happening. Well, this is what I think is happening. Right. That's the part that really kind of didn't jive with me, because it's like, if you know something, stand on what you're saying. Don't say, I think it's happening, or, that kind of puts.
And he prefaced the whole thing by this is news. I have news. All right, what's the news? What's the news? Yeah.
And the first part that bugs me is, well, should we talk about it? You said he was going to be on at 3, and then you said, well, I never said. It literally said, I'll have Don Yee on. I don't get it. So, all right, it's the first part. A lot of yelling, a lot of sweating. But then the thing is all of this stuff right now, it's weird because you think about the style of offense the Bucs run, and Byron Leftwich is now in charge of it. It's not Bruce Arians anymore. Are they necessarily just going to graft their offense to that and change it? Byron Leftwich runs similar things that Bruce runs. I guess they don't run the same exact thing. I wouldn't say it's all risk it, no biscuit. But it's weird to think that Bruce Arians, who had to change things for Tom Brady, which he still throws the ball down the field, would do all of that and completely change what he had to do for Jimmy Garoppolo, especially when he was saying that they reached out after Tom Brady was retired.
We're going to talk about that. But how would Mike Evans feel about Jimmy Garoppolo being his quarterback long-term? Like, hey, man, you better really start loving to run slants and get really good at breaking tackles. That's not your game. It seems like it's a bad fit. But, look, again, Dan Salio was gracious enough to explain where he was coming from, and he said, I talked to Don Yee. I talked to the general manager. You got to respect the guy who puts himself out there like that. So if he says that those people are telling him the Bucs are interested, I got to believe it. I don't know what the Niners are going to take. I hope they don't send money to Tampa for Tampa to take Jimmy off their hands. That would be a mistake, in my opinion.
Well, think about this, Grant. Let's say the 49ers cut Jimmy Garoppolo right now and he still can't pass a physical. That's $7.5 million. Would you be okay with just giving them $7.5 million of the contract and sending him off? Because you're still saving 21, 22, okay, right? So, I mean, if it's that, what happened with Baker Mayfield was they took 10. They took 10, and then they took 3 and turned it into incentives for Baker Mayfield. So that's $13 million that they kind of worked around, and that depends on what Baker can do. I wouldn't be against 7.5. Like, I wouldn't be against 7.5 right now if the 49ers wanted to cut Jimmy Garoppolo. I really would not. It's just
when you put it that way, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. If they say, hey, give us the 7.5, let's just say this week he still hasn't passed a physical, and the Bucs say, just give us the 7.5 injury guarantee and then trade him over and we'll take the rest, cool. And I think you just make that move blindly. It doesn't even matter what they're trying to give you at this point.
It's really funny. One of the things that Dan said, which I believe, is that the whole story about Tom Brady and Jimmy Garoppolo not getting along is bogus and that they're actually good friends. I can believe it. I mean, they go to freaking Kentucky Derby together. And it'd be funny, like, the league's really down on Jimmy Garoppolo right now. He's looking for a life jacket. It's funny if Tom Brady throws it to him, right? Hey, man, I got you, dude. Like, you're not as bad as people say. Come be my backup again for a year. That's a good spot for you.
The one thing that kind of makes sense is this. The Bucs don't like Kyle Trask. The Bucs don't
Give him
like
a chance. Give him a chance, Doc.
The Bucs don't like Blaine Gabbert.
That's fair.
And Jimmy Garoppolo will keep them in playoff contention. He would. Sure. I believe that. But they wouldn't be Super Bowl contenders the way that they are with Tom Brady. So what do? Do you, with Todd Bowles, break this down and say, well, we're just going to go with Kyle Trask, give him a shot. We're going to let Blaine Gabbert run. That's the part that kind of makes sense, in my opinion, from what he said. Because the Bucs do have a ready-to-win now roster with a lot of young guys. You really can't waste those guys that you still haven't paid and things like that. So that kind of made sense for me.
And it's like Tom Brady kind of has the LeBron James effect with that franchise. Like, yeah, they have a general manager, but if Tom Brady goes to that, whoever that guy, Jason, whatever his name is.
Jason Licht.
Yeah, if he goes to Jason Licht and he's like, hey, I think it'd be a great idea to get Jimmy Garoppolo. That carries weight. And maybe he did that. So good thing that Jimmy Garoppolo, if he only responds to one person's text messages, I guess it's Tom Brady. So good going. And good networking on that one.
That's the other part that I took from it too, was that Tom Brady wants this. Like, Tom Brady's fine with this.
Yeah.
And, there's other things that we'll talk about that kind of line up in terms of, recovery time with Jimmy, and we'll talk about that. That was the big thing that I thought I took away from it. But I'll tell you where it was a little wishy-washy. But at the same time, it was kind of like Jimmy's in a spot where there's no starting spot, so he may have to do something like this. And why not the Tampa Bay Bucs?
And it's funny, last thing before we move on to the next item, it feels like Brady is thinking long-term with the Bucs, almost like a general manager. Like, I want to set them up for success once I'm gone. I mean, I'm not trying to praise Tom Brady more because, yeah, he's a great leader and stuff, but who does stuff like that? That's crazy.
I mean,
you think he'll get in the front office? Do you think he'll take ownership of that team in a sense? Tampa?
That seems like a natural move for him, right? Like, and he gets to stay in Florida and he gets to, be front office. And if Tom and Jimmy are as cool as Dan Sileo is talking, and then it's putting your friend on, right?
Yep,
it's
absolutely.
Hey man, I've got an opportunity over here for you. We can make this work.
And Tom does that. He did that with Leonard Fournette.
And if here's the thing, if Tom Brady goes into the front office, do you think he wants to have they're losing while Tom Brady's there? Jimmy will still win them some games. They'll still be in contention. Like Kyle Trask isn't going to do that.
Right. And now that Bruce Arians is gone and it's more of a Tom Brady, Byron Leftwich production on offense, who knows? Maybe it would fit Jimmy Garoppolo better because I can't think of a worse fit than Jimmy Garoppolo and Bruce Arians. But again,
Bruce Arians' offense, Bruce Arians would lose his mind when there's Mike Evans streaking down the field and he throws the ball underneath to Cameron Brate.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Mike Evans is going to lose his mind, but I can't wait for that to happen. Jose says, put Grant on the call. I love you guys all campaigning for him to. He's like, who is Grant Cohn? Like, fair enough. I don't know who you are either.
That's wild. That's wild. He didn't have to do all that. Just say, hey, listen, can you guys fill me in on who Grant is? But a lot of
we got off on the wrong foot. He started taking shots at people at KMBR. I'm like, whoa, they didn't do anything.
No,
I don't work at KMBR. But that was hella funny. Grant and Jason back again like Batman and Robin. Damn right.
So, let's go.
Like we never missed this beat. Is it possible to restructure the contract and trade? If they want to commit themselves to multiple years of Jimmy, which it sounds like they might. I can't freaking believe it.
Wow. Dan Sileo doesn't have the best track record when it comes to this. Like, he's the guy that's just like, the 49ers are working on a deal. Like, he'll throw out random things. The 49ers are working on a deal with the Bills that has Josh Allen coming to the 49ers. It's not, he's never said anything like that, but things in that lane.
Well, I've never heard of him until. I'm sorry, Dan. You played in the league. I guess you're doing your thing in Tampa. Great, man.
I just don't know.
I appreciate you answering my questions. And I guess I'll talk to you in 18 minutes. Let's keep going. More. Okay, so Dan Sileo said a bunch of things real casually, like just in passing. One, Jimmy Garoppolo started throwing 2 weeks ago. News to me. Also, that he's been throwing intermediate passes, and he's now trying to work on the deep ones. Wow. To me, that sounds like ahead of schedule. But no, according to Dan Sileo, forget training camp. Not going to be ready for the start of training camp. Won't even be ready for the start of the regular season. Probably going to miss the first 4 weeks. All news to me. And he says this is further reason that Tampa's the best fit because they don't need Jimmy Garoppolo to play at all this year. I mean, I guess that logic makes sense. He's also saying that a lot of this depends on the Deshaun Watson thing in Cleveland. But if Cleveland needs a starter, then why would they need Jimmy? Why would they want Jimmy if he's going to miss so much time? That part doesn't add up to me, but I'll ask him. What do you think about Jimmy G's timetable according to Dan Sileo?
I mean, he said that there's very little chance that he'd be ready for camp and that there's a strong possibility that he would miss 4 games.
4.
Now think about this. What's been floated around, and Dan Sileo wasn't the first person I've heard this from people that I actually trust. The Deshaun Watson suspension is not going to be anywhere near as far or as long as people believe. Yeah. It'll be maybe an 8 to 10 game thing, but then they'll stretch it and then they'll appeal it down. And then that completely makes sense for Jacoby Brissett to be there and start for a few games and just wait for Deshaun Watson. And why would you trade for Jimmy Garoppolo and just add that on when you're already paying Baker Mayfield to play in Carolina? Yeah. You're paying Jacoby Brissett, and you're still paying Deshaun Watson his bonus money even if he gets suspended. It doesn't go against your cap, but they moved a lot of his stuff to bonuses so he gets money, I guess, to kind of brace for who knows. Remember, it was floated out there, indefinite suspension, and that's from I believe it's Steve Weish of NFL Network broke that down very well. That was a really good report, and that was something I didn't know, which kind of put Cleveland out of there for me. But the whole timetable of him not being ready for camp and then 4 games, now the 49ers, what do you do? Like, why would you hold on to him now if, one, he's not going to be there for camp? You're going to roll Trey for 4 games and then what? Just turn it back over to Jimmy Garoppolo? Like, if that is the case, and it's true, and we don't know if that's true. This is just what he said.
We don't know. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt because he named his sources and no one ever does that. So thank you.
For sure. So if that is true, then the 49ers can't keep him. You just can't. Because if he's on the roster week 1, guess what? All of his money is his.
Guaranteed.
I don't get it. That's the part that if he's right about, the 49ers have a really quick decision they have to make if that's true.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, it seems like Cleveland or Tampa could sort of save them from a very, very difficult decision. But if Tampa doesn't come through, if Dan's wrong, the Niners would have to either admit they were wrong finally and cut him, which they don't like to do, or really hold him for a very long time and hope that he's 100% healthy right before the trade deadline and some team wants him. I mean, that's like shooting the moon. Good luck with that. So I guess it's pretty much. And again, hold on. If you're Tampa and you're looking around, let's say Cleveland, let's say Deshaun doesn't get suspended for the whole year and it's down to basically Tampa or no one. Why do you even need to trade? Like, can't you just wait for him to get cut? What am I giving you? I'm bidding against myself already. I don't understand it.
I'm going to say something that's really going to piss some people off or get people worried. But if the 49ers don't have a trade person, I don't think they're going to cut him, even though they should, in my opinion.
I agree with that. The person I talked to that I trust the most, former coach, really knows the league very well. He feels the same way. It's like, man, they've said it publicly so many times that they're not going to cut him. It would be one hell of an explanation to try to tell fans why they said they wouldn't do it and then did it 4 months after they should have. I mean, it's just easier to hold on indefinitely. And if you trade him eventually, say, well, it was all worth it. And if you don't, just be like, well, you know what? Our quarterback room isn't that expensive. You know, the Rams quarterback room was like $45 million last year. And it could be,
that's one guy.
At least we got a strong quarterback room. At least you'll never have to see Nate Sudfeld play football. That's what they'll say.
Yeah, they will. And, in terms of money, you can break it down that way, right? Like one quarterback, the highest paid quarterbacks, they make more than the entire room of all 3. And if
it's
they
not
want to
outrageous.
Keep right. So it's starting to.
It's just not feasible, man. I mean, yeah. But of course, John Lynch and Kyle will dispute that and be like, no, we got a solid culture. We're above that. We won't let that happen. Hey, man, we'll see. Because it seems like Trey Lance gets a lot of flack for nothing. He can't do anything well enough. And that's because Jimmy's still here. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And they also have put themselves in a spot where they can go back to Jed York's comments. We're prepared to hold on and keep Trey off for 2 years. We're prepared to pay for so they always have that to go back to. And then they always have the Kyle and John comments to go back to of you just don't let good quarterbacks go for no reason. And then, some teams don't have one good quarterback. So yeah, it's a scenario that the more that this dries up his market, the more that it could actually happen. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that.
Anyway, just to recap, started throwing 2 weeks ago, according to Dan Sileo. Won't be ready for training camp, won't be ready for the regular season. I never thought the Niners would have an actual quarterback competition. I think what they want to do is keep Jimmy Garoppolo in bubble wrap until some team makes a bad decision, essentially. And maybe Tampa's going to be that. Dan's like, I love Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm a Jimmy Garoppolo fan. I'm like, okay.
Those Italians, they stick together, man. Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah, I'm only a quarter Italian. I guess that's why I'm not a Jimmy Garoppolo fan. Sorry. Quarter. Okay, so that's the Jimmy Garoppolo timetable. Thank you, Dan Sileo. Moving on, there's more. He said that not only are the Bucs interested in Jimmy Garoppolo now, they called the 49ers about Jimmy Garoppolo when Tom Brady retired. This is according to Don Yee, according to Dan Sileo. There's a lot of accordings here. So Don Yee told Dan Sileo allegedly that the Bucs wanted Jimmy Garoppolo when they thought Brady was out. Then Brady came back. Wow. I don't even know what to ask you. Buy or sell? I mean, what is your reaction to this? I never saw that. Never crossed my mind when Brady retired that the Bucs would do this.
That's shocking to me because it felt like Bruce Arians left when Tom Brady was coming back, which lends to the theory that they didn't exactly see eye to eye, but they won a championship together and they almost got to another NFC championship together. So it's kind of like you bite the bullet, right, with it. Because, hey, how many times do you get a chance to play with the GOAT? And if you have to tweak your offense and he has to run a little bit more, okay, but you win. But then if Bruce Arians was so fed up with the whole idea of like Tom Brady coming back, he would have been cool with them bringing in Jimmy Garoppolo and he would have stayed. Like it just doesn't line up with his system. Now, maybe he had a change of heart, right? And maybe he believes what many people believe. Jimmy's a winner. Jimmy's a winner, and he can win games for us. Maybe he'll change his offense to much more run heavy, which is what they would do in Cleveland. Like, I don't know about that, but it's just the Bucs calling the 49ers after Brady retired, and then Brady comes back, and then Arians is all of a sudden like, all right, I'm going to the front office. I can't do this again for another year. Like, it kind of makes sense a little bit, just a little bit.
I wonder if Don Yee went up to Brady and was like, look, Tom, what do you say about having Jimmy as your backup again? He's not going to take your job. No one's pushing you out the door. But, I mean, you like Jimmy. I mean, we were all in the same. It would help me. I mean, come on, please. Could you see that being like Don Yee? It's like, yeah, I mean, that's fine. As long as he's my backup and he knows it.
Imagine this. And this is just a hypothetical I'll throw up. Have you ever seen a quarterback who's been to a Super Bowl, won so many games, been to an NFC championship that would have to take a backup role? I mean, the only person that I could think of that had similar success that just had to do that was like Mark Sanchez.
Exactly.
Right? Like Mark Sanchez went to a bunch of AFC championship games, and then like the next year when it didn't work, he had to be somebody's backup.
If Jimmy Garoppolo were on those Jets teams of the mid-2000s with Rex Ryan as the coach, I mean, would he have done much better than Mark Sanchez?
No.
I think that's a fair competition. That's a fair comparison. I swear, I saw Jimmy and Mark Sanchez face to face talking to each other in Costa Mesa. You were there, and they're the same height. They have the same beard. They are the same person. I was like, oh my God, Mark Sanchez 2.0. It's just Mark Sanchez. If Mark Sanchez had been drafted by the Patriots, right, and he had this aura of, oh, he studied under Brady. Who cares? He's Mark Sanchez. You put him on the Jets, he looked like that. Sorry. Anyway, that's how I feel about Brady. Tampa, I just think it's funny. I just felt that was Arians' team. No, it's Brady's team. And things are different down there now. And I guess he likes Jimmy. Who would have thunk it? All right, last topic, and then I got to go on this dude's show.
Wait, he sent the link?
Yeah, he sent it out. He DM'd it to me.
Oh, it's up.
So we'll go over there. I don't know anything. He's the one with the information. He talked to Don Yee, so I'm curious. I'm just going to ask him questions. He's going to be like, what do you know? I'm going to be like, nothing. What do you know, man? Let's talk.
Exactly.
I don't know anything, but thank you. Okay, last thing. He said this is all, yes, the Bucs want Jimmy Garoppolo, but the Browns have a starting position to offer theoretically, and the Niners are going to wait because if the Browns want him, they'll offer more, I guess. Okay, and it seems like this independent judge, Sue Robinson, is going to come down with her ruling in the next few days. So the holdup is Deshaun Watson, and that holdup, whatever, could be cleared soon, early next week.
Here's the thing. It would have to be a year-long suspension for this to even make any sense in any way because you're already paying Baker Mayfield to play in Carolina. Like I said, you're giving Deshaun Watson money. You're just not – it's not going towards your cap. You're still paying him. That's still cash you're giving out. Mm-hmm. And then you're still paying Jacoby Brissett. If it's 4 games, if it's 6 games, the Browns are completely prepared to start Brissett. And why would you send anything for Jimmy Garoppolo if he can't even play 4 according to Dan Sileo? Mm-hmm. So this is the part that is like he's contradicting himself. The Watson suspension is a big thing. Once that comes down, we'll figure it out. Basically, once Watson's suspension comes,
I agree.
Yeah. Once Watson's suspension comes down, and we're hearing from a lot of people, not him, not just him, like a lot of people that are credible, that they believe that there's a settlement and that they're going to use last year as time served. Which I don't get what time served is when you get to sit and get every single dollar on a trade.
Well, I think he'd have to give the money back. I think
Okay.
he would have to give like a $10 million check to Houston.
Okay.
But then you could argue, hey, man, that's equivalent. He'd have to do that. Yeah.
So there's
Which against that's the Browns paying Houston essentially.
Right, basically. So there is
Yeah.
a sentiment that it won't be as long. So
Right.
if it is what they think it is, they'll run Brissett out there for that was the plan the entire time. Run Brissett out there and get it ready for Deshaun, and then that's it. Just like once it's done, let Deshaun take it and run. And like what would you do with Jimmy Garoppolo, Brissett, and Deshaun Watson on the same roster? Like it just doesn't jive. Like Jimmy wouldn't be able to show enough, even if he can't play in those 4 games. Like it just the Browns don't feel like they fit before this news came out, and now they don't fit anymore when you think about now that the Watson suspension ain't going to be as long.
Right. If Dan, and we don't know that Dan's correct. Like no one else has reported. It seems to me that if Jimmy Garoppolo was going to miss 4 games and Don Yee was casually telling that to people, he probably would tell Adam Schefter at some point as well. But okay, he just told Dan, and Dan's the only person in the world who knows that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to miss 4 games. If that's true, I'm assuming it is. I don't think the Browns would be interested. Right?
Right.
Like they need a guy to play the whole season. What?
That's the thing.
Jacoby. Yeah.
That's the thing. It's just you just run with Jacoby. He costs you nothing. You're already paying another guy to play somewhere else. Like it doesn't make sense. Like if Deshaun Watson was done indefinitely, let's just say indefinitely, and that means a minimum of a year. Then Jimmy can audition with the Browns. Jimmy can audition with the Browns, and they can say, and he can do whatever he wants after that because there's going to be an opening. Tampa will be open. This is Tom's last ride. A lot of teams may have different openings. Maybe guys walk away. The Giants will be open. Daniel Jones doesn't have a 5th-year option. It opens up a lot more next year. He's auditioning essentially what Jimmy would be doing anywhere. But if it's not a year suspension, the Browns are out. The Browns are out. If it is what we're thinking and it's only 4 to 6 games, the Browns are out. They'll run with Brissett. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, if Jimmy misses the first 4 games, if Deshaun doesn't miss the entire season, they're out. And I think essentially what Dan's saying is Tampa thinks if Tampa's really in it, that Cleveland's not serious, that they're not really, and it's going to be Jimmy's going to be their quarterback, their backup quarterback. Hey man, if Tom Brady bails out John Lynch, that just adds to the legacy of Tom Brady. That's amazing. Wow, I didn't see this coming. I bet my dad a bottle of wine that Jimmy be on the team week 1, and yesterday I was feeling really confident about it, but now I'm like, damn it, Tom.
Well, again, think about this. Tom wants to win in every facet. He's not Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan lost a bunch as a Wizards owner. Tom wants to go right into this front office, right? Let's just say he goes right into this Bucs front office. You bring Jimmy in, you win 9-10 games with that offensive line, with those weapons, with that offense, with that defense. And he can say, hey, we're just going to keep it rolling. You roll out Kyle Trask and Blaine Gabbert, you're in trouble. And Tom's going to get the brunt of that.
All right, we got to take a couple questions, and I got to jump on this guy's show.
Yeah, go.
Call me over there because this could be ridiculous. I'm curious to see how this goes. Yeah. Boris Soze says trade Debo and Garoppolo for Brady. That's funny. No,
do that.
Brady, they missed their time 3 years ago. They should have had Brady. Michael's 2 years ago. Michael Schmidt says you should tell Dan who the hell is Jalen
Hurts.
Hurts? Oh yeah, he started talking about Jalen Hurts. I was like, you better not.
Because he covers the Eagles apparently.
Yeah, I guess so. Bay Area Baller 18 says it's my favorite show. 2 goats. No cap. Jay, I got to keep 2 players in fantasy, but lose that round in next draft. Cook round 1, Swift round 7, Connor round 16.
Cook and DeAndre.
Thank you for giving him an answer. I couldn't give him one. Decode 2.0 says inside man scheme. We are the threat in the NFC. Inside man scheme. Okay.
Yeah, because of what they want to run with Trey.
Yeah. Corey Soto says, if this is true, it must be with the understanding that Jimmy replaces Brady after this year. Where else does Jimmy project to be a starter? I can't believe there's a franchise thinking, let's give Jimmy 3 years. Wow. God love Jimmy, man. That guy's got 9 lives. Amazing.
It helps. Look, again, this is how the business world works. Friends help friends, and it helps to be incredibly handsome.
Yeah. Hey, I can attest to that myself. My whole life has been so easy.
Great. Have you ever noticed there's no handsome homeless or anything like that? They've always got somewhere to go.
All right, man. Well, we had to do a quick 25-minute show today because of Dan Salio. It was breaking news. We'll be back. Thank you, Jason, for alerting me this today. This was all you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, Grant. And shout out to you, man. And shout out to everybody in the chat checking in.
Follow me over to Dan's show. It could be crazy.